Hi, welcome to Week 2 Report Out for English 220, Beginning Creative Writing. We have Jeannie Clark, Rob Davidson, and Paul Eggers with us to talk about their course redesign. So we're going to start with the first question for the report out, which is, how will the rubric for online instruction and the UDL guidelines affect your course redesign?
Yes, well, the Universal Design for Learning Guidelines and the Rubric for Online Instruction, we had a lot of information that we got out of that exercise that we did, so I'm only going to hit a couple of points. In terms of representation, and specifically in terms of student perceptions, for instance, we're definitely going to be creating accessible syllabi that can be utilized by a wide range of students, including things like voice recognition software. And then we also want to utilize certain aesthetic design elements for our, say, Vista pages, for instance, color coding or just using some kind of more intuitively arranged structure for Vista sites. For expression, if we zero in on expressive skills and fluency, we want to give students options, things like including face-to-face workshop either in person or maybe even having students videotape their own small group workshop peer review sessions. We also want to, for instance with expression, if you're looking at executive functions, we want to use, like, say, an automated grade book, which will greatly, we hope, cut down the amount of sort of number crunching that we have to do as professors. In engagement, we're going to continue to use instructor modeling as a principal means for showing students how to approach texts and create those texts, but the ways that we're going to do that are going to be more varied. We'll certainly still do some real-time face-to-face work, but we're also going to maybe use Camtasia to videotape a professor reading a text, modeling a strategy of reading, and then asking the student to respond. And then self-regulation, highly recommended in every teaching environment. We're going to continue to use the portfolio and the author's notes, but we might move to using, say, Google Docs and or Google Sites to create electronic portfolios that the students have more, in a certain sense, maybe a little more command over creating like a Google Site page, but then also we don't have to collect all these dead trees. That might be good.
So the second question is, what's your opinion on open textbooks, and will you consider using one in your course?
I don't use textbooks at all in my courses. Preferring to use full-length collections by individual authors. That said, I found a number of sites in Merlot that offer some supplemental materials that I think I could use in my upper division classes, but not in 220.
We may adapt like certain aspects. I think Paul and I found a fiction writing open source or something that we might borrow parts of or just utilize in chunks, but maybe not the whole thing, because I like to use anthologies, cheap paperback anthologies with really good contemporary work that students might actually want to keep.
Right. Yeah, that's good. So do you have any new strategies in mind for engaging the students in your course?
Yeah, we were thinking about maybe using wikis in conjunction with some of the digital text that we looked at on Merlot. So, for example, we looked at one that had what we felt was a very inadequate glossary of certain categories and terms used in fiction writing. And we thought maybe we could just put that up on a wiki page and have students add to that glossary to provide examples and maybe some counter arguments or things like that.
That's cool.
Another thing we talked about was having the small groups that we set up on the discussion site, having the students perform their best work and video record it and make it available to the class. At the end is kind of a final celebration of the work that they did in the class.
Nice. Is that it for the week?
I think that's
I
it
think
for
that's
English
it.
220 for week 2.
We've learned so much.
See you next week.